Okay, we are live. The little red sign says we are live. We are live. We are live, and it is so. I think that's how I'm required by law to start all VonHelton videos. At least that's my impression of the law. Um, oh man. Now, speaking of the law, that's why I'm doing this. I was hanging around Discord this morning. Got some free time on my hands, and someone linked a video. I guess it's on the old Games You Love channel, but it's VonHelton and J Dubs, just having that awkward kind of romance between them. Like the little hidden signs, the body language, the quick little glimpses out of the corner of their eyes at each other, as you can see that they're watching each other on the screen, licking their lips as they eat their Go-Gurt or tuna or whatever the fuck they're eating today. I don't know. Anyway, they I started listening to it, and it got to the part where they Vaughn started talking about all the upcoming stuff that's going on. So I guess Vaughn's been calling lawyers across Kentucky, and most people probably just ignored him. And I'm assuming he got some type of automatic response back where it's just like, okay, yeah, one of our legal professionals will get in touch with you in the next, 24 to 48 hours, something like that. And Vaughn has interpreted this as he now has a team of lawyers working for him. A little bit of interest got shoved back at him there. And, now it's a team of lawyers that are going to be working hard to take down all the trolls, haters, and naysayers that are apparently going to jail for reporting on Vaughn and the fuckery that he puts out there. But it's funny because the stuff that Vaughn has put out recently has been just absolutely insane. Where like his declaration about the law and like what does it mean and all this other stuff. And I figured, you know what, there's a couple things here that we're gonna take a look at, and we're gonna take Vaughn's advice on this one, and we're gonna Google this stuff. We're gonna Google this stuff. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure when you're there's something like the law is a pretty easy kind of topic to kind of like at least find some references for, right? I mean, that makes sense. Like, no one's gonna, hide this stuff from you. There's got to be some type of, legal textbooks. Or I'm sure there's tons of lawyers in Kentucky that have web pages and shit that, answer some of these questions. So we're gonna dive into some of these. We're gonna dive into some of these claims that Vaughn's made, and we're gonna check the validity of them. To see. How much of this is actually, real, and how much of this stuff is being pulled directly out of VonHelton's ass. So we join our intrepid heroes about halfway through the video here, and of course, Dragnot the Bully, being the ever concerned person about the well-being of VonHelton, has decided to kick the hornet's nest for us to get Vaughn going, and has asked about the evil Frosts and whether they have stopped their terror against Vaughn, and we're gonna see how he reports on this.
No, they're still in illegal possession of my property, and that cannot.
Yeah, Vaughn can't legally enter his property because the Frosts are illegally detaining it.
That's right. They've got it. They've got the mom's house locked. So that's got to cease and desist. Everything has to come over into my name as the blood heir. Okay. Kentucky. See that's what I keep telling people this. People don't get this. Kentucky law is very, very anal when it comes to property. The blood heir is the only one that gets anything out of anything. Okay. You create a will and a trust that cuts out the blood heir, meaning me. You broke the law. In most cases,
I'll make anything, baby.
Yeah, that too. In most cases, any legal document that violates the basic tenets of Kentucky law is DOA. It's dead on arrival. It don't matter what it is. I don't give a damn. If the Pope himself came here to Kentucky and said, "I'm writing an edict," sorry, if it violates Kentucky law, it's about as worth. It's about as much as worth as this here piece of paper towel. Okay, it ain't worth shit. All right, it's just not. Okay.
All right. So we're going to start off with the probably the most egregious kind of claim here, I guess, the most kind of outlandish one, is that for people that might not know this, that VonHelton's mother passed away about, would have been December now. And the thing was that there was a will in place. There was a will in place from about 11, 12 years ago, where she recognized that that Irving here was probably not the best person to leave everything to, that he was irresponsible, couldn't take care of everything, would have pissed the money away on Hot Wheels and foam airplanes. And, you know, the fact that this guy has been an unemployed bum for decades, probably not the person that you want to leave as kind of like the beneficiary of, you know, your stuff when you pass. And she decided that she was going to leave everything to essentially Vaughn's children. Okay, that the trustee of the estate, or the executor of the estate, was going to be a relative of hers, and not Vaughn, another relative, somebody responsible. And they were going to be responsible for creating and saving a trust for the children. And Vaughn was to get some money. You know, he actually was included in the will. He was to get $250 a month. That was to pay his basic kind of utilities, allow him to, you know, not starve to death immediately after his mom's passing, because that's a concern for a woman with a 50-year-old son. You know, that they are not sufficient enough to take care of themselves, that they're going to need a little bit of help, you know. So that was the concern there. So he was added into the will for that. Now, the claim that that Vaughn's put out there now is that, well, this was against the law. You know, this was against the law. Now, at least he's not talking about being a fraudulent will anymore. Now he's just approaching this from the idea that the will itself was illegal. You know, his mother broke the law by doing this. It goes against Kentucky law, because the Kentucky law says that you have to include the blood heir. Now, most of the people who kind of hear this and see this is kind of fucked up. You know, what is Vaughn actually talking about here? Like, this is ridiculous. And there's actually some, and I'm going to give him the most charitable benefit of the doubt that I can possibly give this idiot. And that is, some states actually have provisions in place when you try to disinherit a child from a will and testament. Okay. Now, that being said, that usually applies to minor children. Okay. So if you have a 7-year-old or a 6-year-old, whatever, and you pass away, the state kind of requires that, hey, you got to kind of include these kids in the will to make sure that they're kind of taken care of. Okay. Now, this comes into the question of like whether or not you can disinherit a child or not from a will. Now, again, applies usually to minor children. Actually, I'm not even going to say usually. It applies to minor children. It does not apply to the 55 or what is he now, 58-year-old fucking scumbag, you know, deadbeat son that's been living or squatting in your spare trailer for 20 some odd years. Kind of applies a little bit more specific in that scenario. But that being said, that does not apply to Kentucky. Kentucky does not actually have any of these laws in place. Weird, huh? In Kentucky, if you had a minor child and you passed away, you can leave everything to somebody else. You actually do not even have to include your children in your will, even if they're minors in Kentucky. Now, what is this? Like, where are you getting this from? Well, I took VonHelton's advice, like I said, and I Googled it. All right. And either, Google has completely changed, like they've rewritten stuff. It's been sanitized for your protection, as Vaughn puts it. Or maybe somebody, flipped the on switch on the Large Hadron Collider again, and we've warped reality. Because you can specifically go take a look at Kentucky Code Section 394.020, which describes who you are required, like what is required of a testator to, and how they are to dispose of their property. And essentially it comes down to, they can give it away as any way they want. As he or she wishes, they can dispose of their property. If they want to give it to charity, if they want to give it to their, to somebody, friends, disinherit the children, that's fine. They can do that. There is nothing in place that says that you have to give it to family. Okay, that is the Kentucky Code. That's the section. That's the number. That's what Vaughn can easily go look up and see that there is no requirement for the blood heir. Now, for this guy who's got this great understanding of law and real estate law and all this other stuff, probably the first step before making any of these claims would have been, I don't know, maybe to do a simple search. But maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he's just reading comprehension is that poor that he didn't understand what was said. Maybe he found a different state which talks about disinheriting children and saying that there was limitations against that, and decided that he was going to go off that. No. Kentucky Code Section 394.020. Testator who is of sound mind, not under the influence, may dispose of their property as he or she wishes. They may disinherit their children if so requires. And this has actually been established not just by the Kentucky law as well. There's actually case law that has been established because of this. So again, if Vaughn wanted to do some extra reading, there's a case of Zimlick versus Zimlick, state of Kentucky versus Lexus, Horwath versus Zabel, and another Kentucky versus Lexus. There's some listings here. I kind of give the same example. When you look through those things, and it's some of them are actually, one of them is actually really similar to the case that Vaughn wants to bring up. But it's already been established, not just by the law itself, but also by case law, that, there is no requirement in Kentucky for the blood heir. So let's just get that one out of the way. Okay, we got that one out of the way. There it is. Don't need to worry about, having to, air that one out again. That it is firmly disproven. Now, Vaughn's never going to read this, obviously, and Vaughn is probably never going to actually, watch this video. Maybe he has, maybe he will. Who knows? Vaughn, if you want, if somebody, gets this to Vaughn later, or if Vaughn stumbles, upon this, I will give you the case law. I will even do a live stream with you. You say later on in the video that you have some type of case law for this. Okay, that it's been established by law. Been established by case law. No, it hasn't. I got my examples. I would love to see yours. Okay. All right, let's carry on. There's a little more. That's I'm sure that I think this goes on for a little bit longer with the claims about the property, but we'll listen to a little bit more because it's kind of lousy. But soon we're going to get into the details of Vaughn and wiretapping laws too, which is the next piece.
Okay, so they get we got a will and we got a trust and we got this and we got that. I don't care what they got. If it violates Kentucky law, it's DOA, and that is Kentucky law. Kentucky law is very clear, very anal. They're very anal about that shit. Documents must conform to Kentucky law. I don't give a damn what they are. They can be a will, they can be a trust, they can be, but I can leave my shit to anybody I want. That's technically true. But then if you get somebody like me that goes to court and says, fuck you all, I want my goddamn land, they have to give me my land. They don't have a choice in the matter because I am the blood heir. In fact, I'm the sole heir at this point. There is nobody else. And so I am the sole heir of this property. It is my property. It does not belong to anyone. It belongs to me. And I am 58 years old. I don't need a nanny. Okay. I don't need a nanny. I've got 2 years of broadcasting, 2 years of business administration, 2 years of real estate law. I don't need a nanny. I am quite capable of handling finances and handling the property's affairs. Why do you?
Okay, so I mean, obviously, the man who has not worked in 20 plus years is more than capable of handling finances. This guy has no concept of actual like the value of money at all. In one stream, somebody talks about making, how they only make, I think it was like $28,000 a year, and Von's like, oh my god, that's fucking CEO money. Like, yeah, maybe in 1922. Okay, I like, who takes a look at the making $28,000 a year and thinks that that's a large amount of money? You know who thinks that's a large amount of money? The person who hasn't probably worked since 1983. Okay, maybe that guy might have a little bit more of a skewed idea of like money there. But on the same token of things, he thinks that it's a perfectly believable claim to say that he spent $2 million driving around the state over 10 years, fighting in just transportation charges, visiting his kids when they were taken away by CPS. Do you know how many miles you have to drive to consume $2 million worth of fuel? Just I'm not even going to do the math right now, because every single person here knows that is like unless his kids are being held in Fiji, there's no way in hell that he is spending that much in fuel. But he just pulls these numbers out of his ass because he actually has no idea the value of money, what it's actually worth. So this is why you get these weird claims. So to his point about how he doesn't need, there doesn't need to be a trustee. He doesn't need anybody to take care of the estate. I beg to differ, because this man is 58 years old and has needed his mother to take care of him that entire time. The entire time. Even when he was married, even when the kids were living there. Did Von grow up? No. His mother watched the kids. He would get upset because his mother would call and be like, okay, yeah, time to come get the kids. But it's only been a couple hours. He's got a live stream to do. Listen, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, okay? From what I understand, VonHelton's mother was a very sweet woman, very kind, very caring to her family. But she coddled the fuck out of this man. And I use the term man very generously in this. I've talked before about people who LARP as adults. That they get to that certain age. They get above 18, 19, 20. And they think that, okay, well, now that this is it, I'm an adult. Was in the States, legal age with drinking, smoking, 21. Get to 21 and just like, that's it. What's next? Got to get a job. Got to go to school. Got to get married. Got to have kids. The idea that, okay, you're at that age, therefore, but they don't have the mental capacity yet. This man never grew up. He's not an adult. An adult takes care of their own responsibilities, gets a job, pays the bills. This person doesn't do any of that. They're not an adult. They're LARPing. They're pretending. There is no difference between Von and the 8-year-old kid that puts on his dad's sports coat and pretends to go off to the office. He's in the land of make-believe.
You think the gods had me to take 2 years of real estate law? Duh. Now, at the time, I thought it was weird. I did. I admit that. I freely admit it. It's like, why the fuck do you guys have me taking real estate law? I didn't know back then that I would be down here and that I would need that shit. Well, surprise, surprise. The gods knew years ago that I would need real estate law when I got here so that I could handle this property. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so
Now the trolls are
that's
saying, beware of March 15th. What's going to
well, I
happen
don't
on
give a
March
damn what they're saying beware of. I don't care
Because
what
now
they're beware of.
they were saying like months ago that something was going to happen. Nothing happened. It was all jack
It was all
shit.
BS, right?
It was all BS, malarkey, Bubba
Right.
Meister.
All malarkey, right?
It was
Correct.
bupkis, as they say in Yiddish, bupkis.
Yeah, bupkis, right?
Now they're making up a new date out of their tuchus. Out of
I
their
don't care
rear
how many
end.
dates they can come up with 100 dates. That ain't going to change the law.
You know, this is actually a great point. Like that, why didn't the gods have him get a real estate license? Why did the gods have him finish his college stuff? You know what the value of somebody who didn't finish this shit is? Like, oh, I took 2 years of real estate law. So what? You didn't finish it. What, did you drop out? Did you fail? Were you just that bad at it? I mean, I'm assuming it's probably something like that. Like I went to university back in 2001, 2002 for 2.5 years. You know, I don't, that was for political science. I don't describe myself as having, 2.5 years towards a degree. I don't have a degree. I dropped out and joined the military. It was easier. College was hard. Being told what to do, that's easier. Yeah, I have no problem dropping. I went back to college later on, and I got a certificate. But whatever. That was nothing. I don't use it now. It doesn't apply to my job. But like the thing with him is that he thinks that like he swings this around. He swings this around like somehow this is like something that people should be in awe of. That he took 2 years of real estate law. Well, listen, if he can't get to the very basic like foundation of law, that maybe the first step of something when you're trying to argue about something like how he can't be disinherited from the wheel would be maybe to fucking look up the law. I guess he maybe missed the class where he should at least reference something, where he should at least look at this. But no, he's just talking out of his ass. And as we've already shown, as per Kentucky Code, Section 394.020, that basically states, well, doesn't basically, it does state you are not required to leave your kids anything. That you can dispose of your property any way you want to whoever you want, with no provisions in place that you have to include any accommodations for minor children or 58-year-old deadbeat son of a bitches that are too fucking lazy to get the job over 25 years.
Yeah.
The law is not going to change to conform to a bunch of goddamn YouTube trolls. Sorry, it's not. Okay, and the law, like I said, the law is quite clear. All right, I don't give a damn how many wills and trusts they pull out of their ass. I am the biological heir of this estate. Period. End of story. And I could show case after case after case after case where they've sold property to people and given property to people. And the biological heir comes along and says, oh, that's my land. Get the fuck off. And they got to. They have to give them the land.
And I challenge him to present one of these cases in Kentucky. Challenge that. Like, I'm not sure what he's reading, what case law he's actually reading for any of this stuff, but it doesn't exist. And just because you say it doesn't make it a thing.
And it's their land. It belongs to them. Okay, that's just the way it is, man. You can get mad all you want. You can get pissed all you want. Stomp your feet all you want. Hold your breath until you turn blue. I don't give a flying fuck what you do. The law is still the law. And this is my land. It does not belong to the Frosts. It doesn't belong to anyone now but me. Okay, You can't will land to a minor. Minors cannot take possession of land.
Okay, so now it's switched up a little bit here. Okay, now he's saying that minors cannot take possession of land. So now what he's trying to say, he's trying to switch it up a little bit here, is that because all of the property itself, like I said, was supposed to be left to his children, put into a trust for his children. That's Vaughn saying, well, that now is different. Then this is saying that, well, that now disqualifies that will. And therefore, because that will is disqualified, now he's the blood heir and it should go to him. Maybe that's the argument he's putting out there. But the problem is, again, you can do whatever you want. If a minor child is involved, all that you're required to do is appoint a trustee to the estate. And again, does not need to be the biological heir of the fucking the property. And you know where you can find that reference? In exactly the same one I gave you earlier.
Okay, they can't. Sorry, they can't. All right, and every day that I can't access that double wide over there, that is grand theft.
Okay, next story. VonHelton got, I guess, the local internet cable company there to install internet at his mother's place. Now, I guess that I was reading on the Spectrum Kentucky's kind of webpage that there are certain people that are eligible to get free internet from Spectrum. That includes people with young children, elderly, people below a certain poverty line, whatever it is. And they were going to put this free internet in Vaughn's mother's old home, but she's passed. But they still came and they still installed it. And then the executor of the estate did what the executor of the estate should do, which is come and lock up those properties. Because Vaughn's not in control of them. Vaughn's not the caretaker of them. For as far as I'm concerned, Vaughn's just some guy that's squatting on the property right now. Okay. And they pretty much feel the same way. He has no legal entitlement to anything inside that trailer before or after she passed. Everything was left to put for the kids in a trust. Okay. If you take property and you put it someplace that doesn't belong to you, in someone else's property, okay, you're not entitled to charge them with grand theft because you can't have access to it now. You had no right to put it there in the first place. And as far as we know, that's not even your internet. That might be for your mother. Who knows what the claim is? And it's not going to be stacking up on like that, okay, well, this is like 14, 15 days that, this internet's been over there. So therefore that's 14, 15 counts of grand theft. Listen, if it was actually your fucking internet, you probably should have fucking had it installed in your house, not the house that you don't own. That's not on Spectrum. That's not on the executor's fault. That's your fault for being stupid. Again, maybe somebody should have read the law before making these claims.
And grand theft in the state of Kentucky is a felony, and those felonies do stack. They do stack. And that double wide's been locked how many days now? that double wide's been locked how many days now? Since last Thursday? Or what? Maybe it's been over. Has it been over a week? I can't think. It's been over a week.
It's been more than a week, man. It's been like.
Yeah, Blue. I will actually address that afterwards. If you want to like tag me in Discord with a timestamp for his talk on free speech, it's along the same token as this angle here. So I'll give a little bit of a feedback on that afterwards.
2 weeks.
Been like 2 weeks. Okay, well, felony stack. Okay, so. That would be 14 felonies. Yeah, I don't see anybody getting out of jail with 14 felonies.
Mm-hmm.
Not even on good behavior. But I mean, you could try, I don't think it's going to work, but you could try. But yeah, if I understand correctly, felony stack, especially grand felony. Because that's.
Oh, and we've already established, by the way, that he doesn't understand correctly, right? I mean, I know that I'm preaching to the choir here with anybody that's watching this. That, he doesn't understand, right? I mean, there's nobody here that's defending Vaughn. I mean, if Vaughn wants to defend himself, that's great. That's fine. But yeah.
Grand theft, okay? Ask any real estate agent. That is theft. I cannot access my shit.
Oh, yeah. And then ask any real estate agent. It's like, listen, if you want a good input, like a learned, opinion on felony law, go find yourself a real estate agent, because by God, those people, they are really up to the task there.
It's in my name in that house because they changed the locks. And I told them, I warned them in advance. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. They didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to me. Okay, so they got no excuse. They have absolutely no excuse, none. But every day I can't get in that double wide, grand theft, grand theft, grand theft, grand theft. Every day, every day. And I got StreamYard, or not StreamYard, excuse me, Steam, or not Steam either, Spectrum.
Yeah, actually, that's another good point here. What is grand theft? And what is considered grand theft in Kentucky? Let's find out. Let's see here. There's got to be like a kind of a minimum value on something, then, right? Let's see here. Okay, so between 500 to 10,000 is a Class D felony, punishable with 1 to 5 years in prison. Over 10,000 is punishable 5 to 10 years, and if it's worth less than 500, it's a Class A misdemeanor. All right. So, okay. Yeah. So I guess that answers that. It might be a really expensive, modem or internet, whatever it is there, to probably, plated in gold or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's probably a misdemeanor, but sure.
I'll see
let's,
it, right?
Let's go with that.
Spectrum, my cable company, is sitting there saying, hey man, you got to get in there. You got to get in there. You got to get in there. And I keep saying, I can't get in there. I can't get in there. I can't get in there. So Steam
I'm sure Spectrum, really cares about, the modem there. They drop it off, man. They drop it off. They install it. If he's going to be like, oh, I can't get it, just like, well, it's at the property, man. If you want to move it, go get it. Transfer it over, whatever. They probably told him something. They don't fucking care. I love this idea
Spectrum.
that for every other person that's involved in Bond's little like imaginary world here, where Spectrum or what's the other one, like H&R Block, is involved in the tax stuff, that they're going to jump in. They've got big lawyers too, so they're going to jump in and help Bond. They don't fucking care. These are some dumb fucking Kentucky.
May get involved at my behest because I keep telling them, hey, I can't get in there. And they're like, you got to get in there. So Spectrum may actually get involved as well on my behalf because I keep telling them, hey, that's mine. It's mine. I'm owed it. I'm due it. I can't get into it. And Spectrum may actually get involved as well. So I got a team of lawyers. I got Spectrum, and then whatever else is tagging along. The whole court thing. The gods are overseeing all of this. Like I said, the gods told me, they said, don't do anything, stay out of it.
Shout out
Don't do anything.
Von
Don't
Steam
do
Butthurt
anything.
Lawyers.
Stay out of it. We got this covered. Well, apparently they do. Apparently the gods definitely have it covered. And so, the truth bombs are going to be dropping. Real bombs are dropping in Kiev, but truth bombs are going to be dropping here locally.
Yeah, way to keep it topical.
It's going to weigh heavily in my favor and not in the favor of the trolls or the haters or any of the local miscreants. But it's going to be happening very, very soon.
Very soon.
There is no doubt. And this is your last chance, trolls and haters. Your last chance. Listen to my voice. This is your last chance. Delete all my content wherever you have it. Because anywhere you have it on the internet, Google Wayback Machine will find it.
Oh, shit.
Pull it up. You know this to be true. The internet never forgets. Remember, trolls? You guys used to always scream that shit at me. Well, guess what? Look in the mirror, bitch, because now it's coming back on you. The internet never forgets. So now if you have anything with my content in it,
long after I'm gone, long after VonHelton's gone, Bond's content will still be on the internet. There'll be a generation of people in the future that will stumble across this fucking train wreck from Kentucky and get just as much joy out of it as we did. Thank you, internet.
This is your last chance to delete it. Daily Motion, Lively, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is, you better be deleting it if it has my name or my content in it, because you will get a reckoning day, provided the gods ain't killed your ass before I get to you. You know,
It's
which
a
the
fair
guys
use
do seem
bitch.
to be doing here lately. For some,
Here's the other thing too. Apparently, all these trolls are dropping dead. Okay, now I'm not sure if this is like because I belong to the trolls, haters, and naysayers. What are we? Club, cabal, gang? I don't know. Fan club, yeah, and hail the King of Canada. But like maybe there's like a trolls, haters, and naysayers like fucking like Dutch chapter where all this is happening. Because I can tell you right now that as far as I know, it's not happening from the North American chapter. So I reach out to my Dutch brethren in the THN, and I hope all is well.
I keep telling the guys, hey, I can't sue them if you kill them, but they're, they think differently than I do. You say, yeah, but you got the ear of the gods. You can tell the gods to stop killing people. No, I can't. That's not my place, man. I know my place. That's not my place. It is not my place to tell
These people have nothing. These people have nothing.
They think I can tell the gods what to do. I can't tell the gods what
to do.
We're
going to speed this up until we can get to the next part.
Just because I have their ear.
The Schneider guy, the troll, one of the trolls, Schneider. This guy's a complete loser. I mean, this guy lives in complete poverty. He has nothing to even.
Well, I heard through the grapevine he was posing as a police officer. Is that this is your literal last warning that if you want whatever social media you may have.
Sure.
So they are definitely going to be working on my behalf. So I don't give a damn what your excuse is.
Yeah, lawyers. Yeah, lawyer. Got to watch out for
the
lawyers.
Is dealt with here locally. You trolls are next.
Okay.
You've been warned numerous times, and there is no more warnings. This is literally the last warning you get. Now, that's provided the gods don't kill you before I get to you. But you know what? Hey, that's out of my hands. I got nothing to do with that shit. I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It means they did it for laughs. They did it for kicks. They did it for jollies.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but destroying someone's life is not a funny thing, especially to the person it's happening to.
Yeah.
And I assure you, Andrea, if she was in her right mind, would say the same thing.
Andrea seems to be doing fine.
They probably outgrown their damn pedal cars, their go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
Stopped this years ago and did not.
Yeah,
kids took care of real soon. And it needs to be. Okay. I'm up to here with the bullshit. All right. And it's going to get handled. Sorry. It's going to get handled. This is your last warning, trolls. The very last warning. If you have anything with my name on it anywhere on the internet.
I've been around for about 6 last warnings, I think. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little skeptical about this being the last warning. I'm assuming it's just another generic warning.
What? Someone in here called Larry LF is in the chat room.
Well, damn.
No, he literally came into the chat to talk to us.
Oh, no. No.
You want him in the room? You want to tell him he's a piece of crap to his face?
No, I have nothing to say. And besides, I'm not allowed to interact with him anyway.
Oh, so what? What
terrified.
In the room if he's not
terrified of Larry Frost.
You, right?
Nope, not now. I'm under counsel. He cannot talk to me. I'm not to have any communication with him.
All right.
Technically, when they came out to the house, I wasn't supposed to have communication with them, but I didn't have much choice in that. I wouldn't come out to the house, right? But in any.
So again, this is bullshit. Just because, let's imagine for a second that Vaughn is has actually seeked counsel. Sorry, he hasn't or he doesn't actually have counsel representing him at this point in time. And he doesn't have a lawsuit. He doesn't have anything. And even if he did, he wouldn't it wouldn't be naming Larry Frost for anything right now if he's fighting over the estate, because Larry Frost has no control over that stuff. He wears the power of attorney when his mother was alive. She's deceased now. That I'm not sure what he would be going after for, but there's nothing filed. He's not under counsel. He doesn't have to not talk to him. He's just terrified. He's terrified of Larry Frost, who I think is his cousin or something. I don't know what the relation is. Something like that.
No, I cannot have any communication with them. I am under counsel now, and I cannot have communication with any of them. Sucks to be them. But like I said, things are going to get handled, and they're going to get handled in a big way. Because now I have lawyers that are highly motivated to win my case. Unlike these court-appointed lawyers that I keep getting year after year after year that don't give 2 fucks about me. I finally got a group of attorneys that do give a damn and that do want to get, for no other reason than just to get their cut of the pie, which that's fine. I don't mind as long as they're fighting for me and not for goddamn Clay County. I'm sick and tired of Clay County being the ones that end up winning all the time. That shit's got to stop. Anyways, but yeah, no, I'm under advisement not to communicate, not to have any interaction. I will say this though. Illegally recording me in any way, shape, or form without my permission or.
Here we go. All right. So here's the next piece here that we're going to dive into, because we've already established that Vaughn, all the stuff that he says about how the blood heir has to be included in the will, and if he isn't, then therefore it's the will is illegal and should be thrown out. Kentucky's code section 394.020 has proved that claim is false. Okay, so now we're going to get into the next one. Now this is about wiretapping laws, and this is funny. I do love this piece right here. Again, Google's your friend, right? Take Vaughn's advice. Google this stuff, and the stuff that's about to come out here. This is absolutely amazing, absolute gold. I love it.
Approval is a violation of federal wiretapping laws.
All right, so we're going to start off with federal wiretapping laws. Okay, now the federal wiretapping laws. It comes from a federal statute. It's 18 USC 2511. Okay. And that kind of sets the base kind of law in regards to the United States. Okay, now these can be amended on a state-by-state level. They could bring their own stuff in. That's fine. But the federal wiretapping laws basically states that, at the very least, you have to have a one-party consent. That's it. By default, in the U.S., it is one-party consent, unless stated differently by the state itself, that the federal statute is one-party consent. And one-party consent basically means that if you are involved in the conversation, that if you are recording a conversation, you have to be part of it. Okay, at least one person in a conversation. Sorry, if there's recording of a conversation, it has to be done by at least one person that was involved in the conversation. Okay, everybody's heard this before. This is not fucking new. Okay, this stuff is really established. Okay, I'm sure people have heard all this stuff before. Okay, you can't be sitting inside the van outside of Vaughn's house with the fucking the big microphone there, kind of eavesdropping on his private correspondence if you're not involved in that, unless you have a warrant from a court to say that you can. Okay, but at the very default there, that if you're involved in the conversation, yes, you can record it.
I will say that.
Okay,
that's the truth.
Now,
any type.
The thing with this is that in Kentucky, like I said, that this stuff is generally also handled. They have each states have their own state by state stuff, and you can go to the Kentucky revised statutes, and the same thing. They label that Kentucky is a one-party consent law for recordings. 1 second. All right.
And you could say, oh, it's a one-party state. I don't give a damn if it's a zero-party state. If you record me, I need to be told in advance, and I need to be getting permission from.
There it is. Okay, that's the fun part. We're gonna listen to that little piece again because I love it.
But yeah, no, I'm under advisement not to communicate, not to have any interaction. I will say this though, illegally recording me in any way, shape, or form without my permission or approval is a violation of federal wiretapping laws. I will say that because that's the truth. Any type of, and you could say, oh, it's a one-party state. I don't give a damn if it's a zero-party state. If you record me, I need to be told in advance, and I need to be getting permission from any type of, and you could say, oh, it's a one-party state. I don't give a damn if it's a zero-party state. If you record me, I need to be told in advance, and I need to be getting permission from.
One-party state, Vaughn, does not mean you're the one party. You fucking idiot. You fucking dumb fuck. It means that one party, one person in the conversation can record it. It doesn't mean that you are the one party that needs to be fucking recorded. They're part of the conversation. They're the one party that's required. This is so fucking basic. So basic. It's like, oh, I don't care if it's a one-party state. They need my permission. No, they don't. It'll be a two-party state. You're not in a two-party state. You're a one-party state, you dumb fuck. Now, I know wiretapping probably is not covered in real estate law school, but goddamn, take your own fucking advice, Vaughn. Just Google this shit. Oh man. And it doesn't even matter. Like when he says like the whole federal wiretapping or state wiretapping, it doesn't matter. Because on the federal statute, 18 USC 2511, that you require one party consent in a recorded conversation. In Kentucky, under the Kentucky revised statutes, you also need one party consent to recording to a conversation. There's no special state regulation in place that requires that all parties have to be privy to a recording being made. That does exist in some states, not Kentucky. Sorry about your luck, haters.
I don't care how many parties it is. It's called invasion of privacy. You might have heard of it. Okay, and like I said, it's a violation of federal wiretapping law.
Are your food done, Babel?
No, it's not.
So
You want to eat?
No,
All right,
it's not.
All right, Vaughn. We're coming up it's almost 12. 12 in the afternoon here.
right. Mm-hmm.
Well,
we've only been on for 40 minutes. So what do you want to do? You want to hold on to 45? Or you want to wait to an hour?
Yeah, let's hold on to 45, and then I'm going to go spend some time with the wife.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And she's not feeling.
You gotta get the most out of that investment, right, John? You know, pay good money for that wife, right? Just saying.
Feeling well, so I'm gonna feed her and love her and
well, your camera finally cleared up. What'd you do?
I have no clue, man. It is what it is.
Well, it seems to have cleared up a little bit, so that's good. Seems to. So that's good. But yeah, man, I'm under counsel now, man. I'm technically not supposed to talk to anyone, but of course, if they come out here about the house, I have no choice but to interact with them. But I would really rather not even do that.
And the drug war wants to know, does Vaughn have an attorney? Actually, Vaughn has a team of lawyers.
I have a team of attorneys now. I have a team. And they are highly motivated to work on my behalf. So I have a team. Obviously, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want them harassed.
There we go. Okay. Last piece I want to kind of address here. I love this part.
I have a team. Obviously, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want them harassed. I had to work on, but I don't want them harassed. I have a team. Obviously, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want them harassed.
You know, the easiest way to spot somebody lying about having an attorney is that they say things like, I'm not going to tell you who my attorney is because I don't want them harassed. Okay? If he actually had legal counsel to deal with this stuff, and he would believe that there is he had these cases and shit there. His attorneys would be telling him that, not to interact with these people. And if anybody asks, you give them our name. You give them our name, you give them our contact information. We will act in your state. Okay, that's what they'll do. Is that a law firm? Do you think a fucking law firm cares about internet harassment or bullying or anything like that? You think that you're going to get away with harassing a law firm? That it's like oh, we were gonna represent you, VonHelton, but some guy named Secular Opinion on the internet said some really mean things about my wife, and we're gonna have to drop your case, man. I'm sorry, but we just the mental abuse that this guy is giving us is too much, and it turns out that he's got diplomatic immunity because he's the king of Canada and all, and so sorry about your luck. That's not gonna fucking happen. The law firm's not going to give a fuck if somebody on the internet. Vaughn should probably know through experience, through fucking calling every single law firm in the Clay County area and probably the greater Clay County area, how hard it is to get through to a fucking law firm. If I don't think that they're really worried about this shit. You think that they're I don't know. Maybe they're worried about bad Yelp reviews. Can you give Yelp reviews to a fucking law firm? Like, is that a thing? Like, I don't know, but it's just like if you have a lawyer, okay, if you have a lawyer, probably the first step is be like, listen, if anybody has any wants to contact me in regards to any of this stuff, please go through my attorney. This is their name. This is who they are, and that's what they exist for. Okay, that's what they exist for. Anyway, all right, we got one more thing here we're going to dive into, and we will call it there. Let's see, where is it here? Back to StreamYards and share. I'm getting better at this StreamYards thing. A little bit better. All right. Here we go. Let's take a look at Von's now. Now that we've talked about Von's understanding of Kentucky law regarding last wills and testaments, and Kentucky law about one-party consent. Let's take a look at Von's understanding of free speech.
And defeats me ever, never, ever. I wouldn't do it. But hey, whatever. I cannot get behind a podium and wish death on anyone. I can't do that. That is not free speech. That is hate speech.
Stop fucking lying.
One of my
You threatened to kill someone. I hope you weren't doing that live on camera.
Of course I was. Of course I was. if I could reach through this camera right now and grab a hold of these motherfuckers, they would not be long for this earth, brother.
Just keep on lying. Damn.
I love this.
Peace.
I cannot get on the internet and say that VonHelton is a pedophile. Now, without proof. Why?
So, just for the record, I have gone online and said that VonHelton's a pedophile, and I also have gone and shown proof of why that opinion that I hold is perfectly justified. If you guys haven't seen that stuff, it's great. I think the gray alien Von took a shot at, uploaded some the videos from the it looks like a 12-hour Shady for Christ stream, where I broke down exactly what Von does with his video games. By the way, I guess he's had some free time in his life recently. Somebody linked some screenshots of the day that he's still messing around on that Lovers Lab website, and it's a screenshot that he posted there, and it's I guess he's got like the debug menu up, and he's trying to figure something out, and in the background you just see like naked women walking around everywhere. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
Because that is hate speech, and not only is it hate speech, it's also slander, libel, and defamation. And
all right, so I brought this example the other day, which was the in regards to free speech, and that every single person here, again, obviously knows this, but except for Von. But one of there's a lot of different defenses that you could have for free speech. Okay, that obviously one of them is that it's the truth. Okay, like you're never going to get in trouble for speaking the truth on something. All right. The example that gets brought up all the time here is that where they say that, okay, well, there are limits to free speech. You can't yell fire inside of a crowded theater. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You know when you can yell fire inside of a crowded theater? When there's a fucking fire. You're not going to get charged for that. It's true. And that right there will cover probably 90% of the shit that people say about VonHelton right there. Is that you're not going to get in trouble for speaking the truth about something. When Von says something, when he does something, when you repeat his words, or when you have the actual facts in hand saying, yeah, Von did do this, that's not defamation. Who cares if it makes Vaughn look bad? If it's the truth, that's it. If I say he's a fucking, that he hasn't worked for, over 2 decades, that's not defamation. That's truth. He hasn't. If I say he's a fucking lazy bum who hasn't worked in over 2 decades, that's also protected because that's opinion. Okay, I'm giving my opinion on him. There's plenty of cases out there, and like one of the examples that you kind of point to was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson got sued for claiming a woman, the former, I think it was the former Playboy model that was apparently had something going on with Trump there, and ended up getting a settlement from Trump. And Tucker Carlson goes on air and described the action that this Playboy model did as extortion. As extortion. She said that she had extorted Donald Trump. And he got sued for that. And it went to court. And it was dismissed. Because Tucker Carlson's not a news anchor. He's not reporting on the news. He's giving his opinion. Like it's an opinion show with Tucker Carlson. And that's how it should be interpreted. And that, that any reasonable person hearing that wouldn't think that he's speaking fact. He's speaking what his opinion is about this person in that situation. Okay. So opinion goes, speaking your opinion on something, it gives a huge, kind of, birth in what you can and can't say about somebody. Even in the situation where somebody's life might be put in danger, like, for example, like Vaughn, let's say hypothetical, Vaughn gets arrested and they find the gigabytes of images of video game girls that appear to be relatively young. Okay, and he gets charged with some type of pedophilia law or some shit like that. If you say Vaughn's a pedophile there and he goes to jail and he gets shanked in the showers because that's how they deal with people like him there, we're still protected to say that, even if it puts his life in danger, because it's still true. It doesn't matter. That's a really fun example, like probably a bad example, but I just wanted to talk about Vaughn getting shanked in prison because I thought that was hilarious.
Right? You follow me? So no, I'm sorry, but hate speech is a thing, and free speech is not what you think it is.
Hate speech is a thing, but it's generally related. I mean, this goes into weird things like you do have the right to to speak your opinion on certain things. The thing that really affects free speech is like the call to action piece. Like when you're trying to incite people to do something else. But even with the hate crime laws, like hate crime stuff is usually something that they throw in addition to another crime that you've already done if they feel that it was motivated in such a way against a protected class of people. Like it's really hard to define what hate speech is off the start. But calling Vaughn, out for the stupid shit that he says is not hate speech. Vaughn is not a protected person. Being VonHelton does not make you a protected person. And anything that people say or do against him, they're not doing that because he is recognized as some type of protected class. We're not going after him for his religion, contrary to what he says all the time. I don't give a fuck if he's a pagan. I don't think he is. I think if he is, he's a really, really bad pagan. Don't care that he's old. I don't care that him and John fantasize about each other, like, his sexual orientation there. That's none of that stuff is motivating why I think Vaughn's a piece of shit. So no, nothing I would do would get elevated to hate speech because of that.
Free speech is not the internet. Sorry, it's not. I know, it, believe me, nothing pisses me off more than getting banned from YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Multiple times. And then ban evading.
The problem is, though, is that they're right. There is no expectation of freedom of speech, because freedom of speech, as defined by the Constitution, is simply the ability to speak out against the government without being jailed or killed.
Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or of prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Okay.
That is free speech. That's all it is. It is not about getting on the internet, calling people this, that, and the other thing.
You can if it's your opinion. Now, there is a certain piece about that terms of service. You know, obviously that YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever, that they can ban whoever they want for whatever they want. Okay. Now, these are two separate points that's Vaughn bringing up. One is that he wants people to go to jail for violating what they say is, I don't know, sure, for hate speech or something like that. I don't know. He hasn't really clearly defined it there, but you know, he's wrong. Like that would be the government imposing on you your right to express yourself. Okay. But then he says that, well, these people at least should be banned. Well, that's a little bit different. If you think that anything that I've said about this guy is a breaking terms of service, then report it. I'll appeal it, and maybe I'll lose my channel, maybe I won't. Who cares? But all I'm doing is giving commentary and speaking my opinion on this. And one video about VonHelton, I don't think raises to the level of harassment.
These trolls on YouTube, they love to run around saying, we got free speech. We can call VonHelton whatever we want to. No, actually you can't, because that's not free speech.
I love Nataforce's videos. Just like
not
little
even fair use,
tidbits of fact in there.
Speech.
And this is fair use.
Because free speech has
okay, taking a look at the video, providing commentary on it. That's exactly what fair use is. Sorry, what you luck, haters.
Defined by the Constitution is your ability to speak out against the government without being jailed or killed. Am I the government? No, I am not. Likewise, I can't get on here and say Brett Keane sucks my dick. I can't do that. Why?
Well, you could if it's true. And I have no reason to believe that it's not.
Because that's not free speech. That's hate speech.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. There's no legal definition of hate speech under U.S. law. Hate speech is...
And it might be even terroristic threatening. And it might be...
hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. Hate crimes are not. Okay? Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. It's like when we talk about like the hate or any of that stuff, like that stuff that gets an addition to other crimes. So if another crime has been committed that was done because it was influence or targeting, done specifically because it was targeting a protected class of people, then it becomes a hate crime. But because speech is free, and you can have free speech, then I guess it's hate speech, especially in the U.S., would not be able to fall into the category. It just doesn't exist. Okay, you can say whatever you want, whenever you want, kind of about people, as long as it doesn't fall into the categories of inciting violence against them, or into the defamation stuff that Vaughn thinks that this shit actually does fall into. It doesn't, because, like I said again, the easiest protection against any type of defamation suit is the truth. And sorry, what people say is either repeating what Vaughn says or just shit that we know to be true, or it's another category, which is the opinion, which again is protected.
And it might be even terroristic threatening if it rises to the level of...
Oh, yeah. I put that up there because that is true. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier, is that hate speech is not protected from YouTube or Facebook, etc. Yeah, if they don't like what you say, they have the right to ban you for that stuff. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and it's actually kind of a really interesting case study. I'm going to go off of Vaughn for a second. I'm going to talk about something that's actually kind of fun, and it has to do with the internet, or like the private companies, and whether or not their platforms are free speech zones or not. And like right now, like, I mean, it's pretty clear that YouTube, Twitter, any of these the social media platforms have the right to enforce their terms of service as they want. They can. And what a lot of people argue for is that the idea that whether or not the internet is some type of like modern era, like pseudo public square that should be protected under those things. And now on the surface, it actually seems pretty clear that a private company can do whatever they want with their platform online. But there is actually some interesting, case law in the U.S. that kind of deals with this. And the one of the interesting things was goes back to it was post World War II in a town in Alabama. It is a court case there. You can find it. It's the person's name is Marsh, Grace Marsh. And she was a Jehovah's Witness that was doing proselytizing in Chickasaw, Alabama. And now Chickasaw, Alabama was a town that belonged to the Gulf Shipbuilding Corporation. Okay, so like this entire town was kind of ran, owned, operated in support of the shipbuilding company that worked there that had produced ships all through World War II. And so everything in this town was considered, to fall under the private property of the company that owned it. And they had federal buildings there. They had like a post office. They had sidewalks. They had all the stuff that you think would be like private or government properties up there. And what she ended up getting arrested for was proselytizing on the sidewalk outside of the post office, I believe. And she got arrested and by the law enforcement in the town and charged. And she ended up appealing this several times because she figured that her freedom of speech was being restricted. And the first couple times that this went to court, it was ruled in favor of the town there because they figured it was private property. And it ended up going up to the state Supreme Court, it was the U.S. Supreme Court, I think it actually was, that basically ruled that even in this town that was owned by this shipbuilding company, that her right to free speech on a sidewalk should be respected in the same way as anybody on a public sidewalk in any other town in America, and it actually got overturned. So precedence has been set before in the U.S. for when the freedom of speech would, somebody's freedom to express himself, even on a private property, even while legally trespassing or using, let's say, like something like an online platform. The U.S., the Supreme Court can rule in favor of that person if they feel that their free speech is being limited. Now, that's kind of an example. How well that translates over to a social media platform in modern times is a question. I mean, obviously that there's no real precedent that's been set by any case now dealing with that issue. But I think that it's kind of neat just because it shows that it might not, in the future, it might not be as cut and dry as we think it is. And well, I would say that definitely the as of right now, that yes, these social media platforms have the right to police things any way that they want. That just because there is precedence that has been set in the past about government coming into private corporations, private companies, properties like that, and overriding that stuff. It would be interesting to see how that translates to an internet scenario. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're right or wrong or anything like that. I just think that it's kind of a neat thing.
Putting someone's life in danger. Say like maybe 3 innocent little children who haven't been able to come home for the last 2 years.
What is on his
Would it
head?
rise to the level of criminal defamation at that?
Trying to get a
3
good image there.
innocent little.
What is that shit all over his hands? It looks like he's been digging in the dirt. That's
children
weird.
who haven't been able to come home for the last 2 years.
Like, is that dirt, or is that like a medical thing? Like, is like blood pooling in his hands or something? I'm not a doctor by any means. There, like, is this like the sign of like some type of untreated illness? Like, is this? I mean, like, honestly, like, just looking at Vaughn, he kind of personifies what I imagine unhealthiness is, and so I mean that could be anything. Like, I don't know, but like, god damn, that's just kind of worried. He's gonna lose that fucking hand.
Would it rise to the level of criminal defamation at that point? Yes. As a matter of fact, it does. Isn't that interesting?
Does he have diabetes?
Why?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because innocent lives are in danger as a result. So it's no longer defamation. It's now criminal defamation, which means it went from a misdemeanor to a felony.
But he's got to prove this stuff first off, too. Like I said, defamation is kind of a hard one to prove. And especially when people do commentary on Vaughn's videos, if they speak that, their opinion on him, or if they speak the truth on him, you're not going to get charged with defamation.
Imagine that. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? But yeah, there is no expectation of freedom of speech anywhere on the internet. And there never has been. Because that's not what freedom of speech is. Not your right to get on the internet and talk shit about VonHelton or G-Man or...
Well, okay, but again, like, now he's switching this up. Like, now he's just saying that, freedom of speech is something that's not on the internet. Well, listen, there's terms of service of social media platforms. Okay, like, that's a thing. But if I break YouTube's terms of service, I'm not going to jail. I'm not getting charged with criminal defamation because I said something mean to him on the internet. Okay, especially if it's true, or if it's just my opinion.
Right, Keene, or John Gishila, or anybody else for that matter. That is not free speech, and like I said, it's slander, libel, and defamation. Now, YouTube has supported these internet trolls, and so has Google. But I got a funny feeling those things are going to change. Call it a hunch, but I got a funny feeling those things are going to change. In any event, but yeah, there is no expectation of freedom of speech in that regard. The only expectation of freedom of speech you have is that you will not be jailed or killed for speaking out against the government. That's it. That's it.
No, it's not just the government. It's against anybody. You can't be jailed or killed for speaking your opinion on something. That's the idea. Like, god damn, this is not a hard concept. For a guy that calls himself a truther and a constitutionalist, like, it's really weird that he's just so, like, ignorant on this shit.
As defined by the Constitution. Anything else is not free speech, it's hate speech. Bon, you can't be serious. Well, I'm sorry, but I am. As someone who is a truther, and as someone who is a constitutionalist, and as someone who is a historian.
I just want to point out that I haven't actually seen, like, all this video, but it's that bad that he's so predictable that I was able to foresee him calling himself a truther and a constitutionalist. God damn.
I can assure you that is free speech. Free speech is your ability to speak out against the government, not against other people, not against institutions, not against anything. You can only speak out against the government. Do I look like the government to you?
No, thank God.
No.
Oh, there's a better shot right there. God, look at his hands. Like, that's a, I'm not sure. Can you guys even see that? Like, where do I get that bigger? Is that away? Man. Like, is that diabetes? Is that what, like, again, like, I don't know. Jesus. Maybe paint? I don't know. Yeah, hopefully it's paint or something. Jesus.
No. Although I have run for political office, I'm not the government. So anything you say about me can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Good luck.
Remember those lines that the police give? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Why do they say that? Because there is no expectation of freedom of speech, you morons.
Are you serious? No.
Not when it comes to
What
individuals.
the fuck? No.
Or
Are you serious? Is he now conflating Miranda rights with freedom of speech? Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so oh my goodness. So Miranda rights are not isn't about free speech. You know, the fact that you're warned prior to like arrest or whatever that you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. I'm sure every single person here's seen a fucking police show before. But that has nothing to do with free speech. That has to do with warning people that anything that they say will be used against them in a court of law. That that there's no privilege when they're talking about this stuff. Like it's to stop people from getting tricked into saying things and stuff. I guess I don't know. I can tell you what it is, and it's not free speech. That has nothing to do with it. Your Miranda rights are just the rights that you have when you're being detained. Jesus.
even corporations. Your only right to speak out is against the government. That's it. So every one of these motherfuckers that get on the internet and say VonHelton is a pedophile, VonHelton beat his wife, VonHelton raped his kids, VonHelton killed his mom, VonHelton did... What is that? That's hate speech.
I mean, a lot of that is inference based on really good information. That's what it is. Like, I mean, like, sorry. I mean, if I was to make any one of those claims, I think that there's ample evidence to actually support any one of those claims being made. So, like, I would say that, yeah, if I was to make those claims, what is it? I'm just like, wow, it's probably the truth. Probably the best explanation for this shit. Oh, man. That's a that's actually not my cat. That is my daughter upstairs singing, which I guess is very very cat-like in its sound. But it's the if you haven't heard the theme from the what's the new Disney movie, the Enchanto or something like that, sung at the top of your lungs, the lungs of a 4-year-old. That's what it sounds like in the background. Oh yeah, you're trying to, don't worry. I'm not yelling, and I'm in my office, and my daughter is upstairs in her room somewhere. I'm, like I said, watching Disney movies, so I'm pretty sure that she can't hear anything that I'm saying. Although I'm not really talking about Vaughn's affinity to animal genitalia right now, so it should be okay. Try to cover for me. Oh yeah, thanks. No, I'm fine. I unlike Vaughn, there's no risk of my kids getting taken away.
And it might even rise to the level of terroristic threatening. But for sure, it's hate speech. It is not free speech. It never has been. As defined by the Constitution of the United States. It has never been free speech.
This guy's never read the Constitution.
Only freedom of speech guaranteed to you by the Constitution is your right to speak out against the government without being jailed or killed. That's it. Everything else is either slander, libel, defamation, or hate speech. That's it.
Everything else.
Sorry. What do you want me to say? I mean, seriously, what do you want me to say? You want me to get on here and tell you a convenient lie?
I mean, that pretty much defines,
I can't do that.
Like, Vaughn's existence is just telling himself convenient lies. You know, like in reference to Kentucky Code Section 394.020 that says that, you know, there's no legal responsibility to somebody, to a testator to leave anything to their children. Like, that they can give away their property any way that they want. Like, that's not a convenient lie. That's just the truth. The convenient lie is what you tell yourself to make yourself sleep better at night, Vaughn.
Sorry, I can't do that. I have to tell the truth. And that is the truth. So for years, all these people getting on the internet calling VonHelton this and VonHelton that. Slander, libel, defamation.
That is true. Yeah, that's another thing too. I'll put this up here. Is that I don't remember anybody ever making this claim. Okay, the like even in the there are people out there like I find Vaughn funny. Okay, I think he's a laugh riot. But I don't hate the guy. I just think he's a piece of shit. There's a difference. But there are people out there who genuinely like hate Vaughn and wish diseases upon him and wish the most misfortune for him. And which is like that's fine. That's their prerogative. No hard feelings there. But even they haven't said like the extreme stuff against Vaughn like this. I think that the most was that he was supposed to take the University of Kentucky was supposed to administer a test that rates the level of or the threat of somebody being a threat to young children or some shit like that. Anyway, they call it a pedo test. But anyway, like that by Vaughn's own admission, he failed the test. So again, people just kind of inferred, he might have these tendencies.
And like I said, when innocent little children are involved, it rises to the level of criminal defamation, which is no longer a misdemeanor. It is now a felony. Get it straight, trolls, haters, and naysayers, because there might be a quiz later.
Oh, I will nail
there
this
might be
test.
A quiz later. Call it a hunch.
I got
there
this.
There might be a quiz later.
I'm really good at quizzes.
Provided any of you are left alive, of course, because apparently the gods are...
shout out to the Dutch chapter of the THN. May the gods be with you.
Wiping you motherfuckers out faster than I can arraign you. Which is kind of disconcerting, actually, because I really need the money. Anyway, the point is that...
Yeah, listen, if Vaughn needs money, here's a really novel idea. Get a job. Like, do something like that. And maybe instead of, I don't know, building foam airplanes at 4:00 in the morning for several hours. Like, just, even like they get an online job. Like, they exist, especially now. If one thing that COVID's taught us for the last 2 years is that working by correspondence from home is a very easy thing to do. I have a family member that works for a cable company, and their entire office is now done from home. Like, they used to work in a building, now they all work from home. They've even businesses have opened back up, obviously, and life is relatively kind of returning to normal. Different areas. These people are still working from home, and they'll be working from home for the foreseeable future. Because it just works, it's efficient. And now the department consists of people across, the country that kind of work under these supervisors now. They keep track of this stuff. There's a lot of virtual offices that are happening now. That's essentially COVID kind of proved that these models can work. They can be done. So now to say that that Vaughn couldn't get a job like that. Absolutely. And what's he got to do? He's got to sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day and, maybe do tech support, pre-programmed answers from some app there. And he could do that all while jerking off to his Fallout nods on the other screen. He's got 3 screens. He could do work on one screen, handling tech support, and then programming animal genitalia on another screen. I mean, I'm sure Vaughn can multitask and do this. I have faith in him. A lot of people do not have faith that Vaughn is capable to do this type of stuff. I think you're wrong. I think that Vaughn actually has the ability to work from home on a monitor, maybe 2, and then also create mods where he can have sex with a dog on the other screen. I think he can do it. Listen, you naysayers out there that don't believe that he has these techniques, these skills, you're wrong. I think you're wrong. My man Vaughn here, he has that skill. Look at this guy. Does this look like a man that's going to give up and not be able to make horse vagina mods? Oh, my God. Oh, fuck. Man. I can tell you. I mean, like, listen, being known for a lot of things, like online for stupid shit. I mean, like, what is Shady for Christ said that the moon was a hologram, like, what, 10 years ago, and people still bring it up. That is infinitely less embarrassing than the amount of animal porn video game mods that this guy got caught with. Oh man, that is messed up.
You're being dealt with either by the gods or by me, but you will be dealt with. I assure you. I assure you, you will be. But yeah, I mean, for those of you that are clueless, you have no expectation of freedom of speech anywhere about anything other than your ability to speak out against the government. You can say whatever you want about the government, and it's legal, and it's free speech. I am not the government. John Gashila is not the government. Brett Keane is not the government. G-Man is not the government. Veckel is not the government. So when you speak out against those people, you are not exercising freedom of speech. No, you're fucking not. I don't give a damn what YouTube says. I don't give a damn what Google says. I don't give a damn what anyone says. The Constitution says that the only expectation of freedom of speech is your ability to speak out against the government. That's it. Everything else is slander, libel, defamation, or hate speech.
Literally everything else. Yeah, if you're not talking about the government, it's slander, libel. Oh my goodness. No, Vaughn, it's not. It's not, man. Like, it's weird. Like when you listen to a VonHelton video, he does that thing like the mantras. He's got to repeat it several times. I don't know how many times I could say, "No, you're wrong," and here's why. Because then you start sounding like VonHelton, just repeating stuff all the time. And the repeating of that he's been going on this stuff for a while now is just absolutely hilarious. Now, I see that I don't think that this has the full video on this one, or maybe it was a different one. I can't remember. See, it's with Vaughn. It's really hard to judge what videos you've watched with him because he has a really bad habit of not changing his shirt. You know, so when you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching this video. It had Vaughn. He was wearing that B-17 shirt. Oh God, let me see if I can find it." And then you start looking through Vaughn's videos there, the videos that people put up with Vaughn in there, and you realize he's been wearing the same clothing for 10 days. So it's really hard to be like, "Oh fuck, was this the video? I remember he was wearing that shirt." But I mean, it could be one of any because the motherfucker doesn't change. He literally wears the shirt until it gets so fucking dirty that it falls off him. And then he moves on to the next thing that he can pull out of his mom's closet. Okay, like it's bloody gross there. But there was there was I think it was him that was talking about it the other day where it's just like that no other country has freedom of speech. Okay, that's an American concept. And or that they have a constitution or anything like that. That's purely, just a U.S. thing. Way to go. I think that, it was because he was talking about Canada. It was like Canadian law. Canada doesn't have a constitution. I just Google what kind of country is Canada, and it's going to pop up. We are a constitutional monarchy. We have a constitution, but you know what? I mean, like, hey, listen, I'm not shitting on my my American neighbors down south. Okay, our constitution didn't need to be labeled with the title "the Constitution." In fact, actually, a lot of countries that are considered constitutional, that have these documents, rarely call them the Constitution. That's a U.S. thing where you kind of called it there, the big, bam, there it is. And the whole thing, freedom of speech. Like we have, what is it? The Charter of Rights and Freedoms up here. That includes, they're talking about things like, what speech we're allowed to say, like where does our freedom of speech end? And in Canada, it's actually very similar to, most of the Western world, that you have the right to pretty much speak your opinion about whatever. And like I said, like there are certain things that, like, might sound like, oh, well, you can't say that. But just like in the US, there's defenses to them, obviously. Like, I'm never going to get in trouble for speaking the truth. Okay. I'm never going to get in trouble for speaking my opinion. All right. Like, those are things that we're protected under. Now, there are some things that we can't say. Like, we actually do have a little bit more limits on our speech there than, most than Americans do. But they're not like huge, things that like we really have to kind of, watch ourselves on. Like, we do have some variation of kind of hate speech. I can't remember all the details about it, but then again, I'm not really a hateful person. I don't speak out against, protected class people or anything like that. So I'm not really concerned about that. But I think even ours applies in kind of like the same way that it's, generally on addition to, another crime, any type of hate law gets kind of, piled on top of that. I mean, I'm not really concerned about my speech being limited. I know that there was a kind of a weird kind of caveat that existed in Canadian law for a long time that did protect that did state that if you were to be critical of a religion or a faith of any kind, that it had to be done in a respectful manner. Like, so you couldn't come out and make a lot of very strong like anti-Christian or anti-Islam or anti-Jewish kind of comments in a way that was deemed to be overly rude, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those laws that was on the books from years ago that was never really kind of enforced. Yeah. Our PM is appointed by Elizabeth II. No. That's great. That's awesome. But there, being a constitutional monarchy, there are kind of like some weird kind of things in our law still. Like, so we do have a representative of the Queen, the Governor General, who nowadays it is they're appointed by the Queen, and they are mainly a ceremonial position. Although, even though it's a ceremonial position, they still technically have the kind of power that's granted to them. So the Governor General of Canada can still technically de-seat the Prime Minister. I don't think it's never been done. And I think in history, it was almost done once. Like, I'd have to really kind of look into that. But it's a very kind of like ceremonial type of position that they wield a bunch of power that they never actually, will use. But yeah. Dragged out. I don't know, man. I'm from this. I went to Booley College, and that's where I learned everything. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, it looks like we've been going for an hour and 33 minutes. So that means that if I want to shut this down at a nice round number, I got to fill the time for another 27 minutes. And I really don't know what to say there. Maybe I'll take a look at the comments here. Let's see what's this? Oh, that's awesome. I saw a message from Secular Opinion in THN chat. That is great news. Yeah, he is now officially a brother in arms. So awesome. And let's take a look at the chat here. Got Quasi Monkey. So show some Canadian bobbies. How's Elden Ring treating? You know what? I haven't bought Elden Ring yet. I'm like huge fan, definitely will. But I have to go away for work next week on Tuesday. And when I come back from that, I'm going to have plenty of time to sit around and, kind of play some video games for a bit. Haven't had much time to do that in the last couple of weeks. I'm actually doing shit with right now with my career and stuff, which is really cool. And unfortunately, I can't talk about it. But it's hopefully going to be leading to a bunch of money and some good stuff in hopefully I'll find out next month. So that's cool. If I do end up getting, getting this stuff that's supposed to be happening, then I will, let people know. But yeah, we'll see. What else we got here? Butthurt lawyer. Oh God, I love that guy. Can I have some money? You know what? Like, listen, Quasi, if I ever go home or to visit the in-laws again, like my brother-in-law, if we ever pass by, my old stomping grounds there where you're at, I will make sure that I pick up some BC snow and bring it back with us. What else we got here? Canada kept Stinky out. That makes him mad. Yes, he was denied. The Punisher was denied entry into Canada, even while all the Somali terrorists were being let in. That is true. Battlefield over Elden Ring. Every single Battlefield game seems the same. First-person shooters, I got tired of them years ago. But, I guess the same can be said about games like Elden Ring. Let's see what else we got here. Canada is the Australia of the Northern Hemisphere. They both don't exist. So true. Yeah, it's just a hologram. It's just a hologram. That's it. We're all actually employed by the NSA, just to create the idea that there's a country north of Americas. Let's see here. That's not how you spell country. Oh fuck. Anything else good here? You're under arrest. Yeah. Oh, disrespecting a true American Ninja Space Marine vampire. I'm actually a little disappointed that a lot of the he's actually walked back on some of the stuff. Like because so many of his claims have been kind of like out there for a while, like shit that he said years ago on forums that he thought didn't exist anymore. That some of the stuff still gets brought up, and I think even Von's kind of embarrassed by this shit now. Yeah, that whole internet never forgets thing. Yeah, he didn't pay attention to that early this time online, and so there's like all this other shit, and he's had to go back and kind of revise history of a lot of the claims that he's made, which is fucking hilarious. I love some of the new versions of it. Although I will say that the whole VonHelton vampire thing, he was really deep into that. About his the healing properties of his blood and the fact that he had fangs, allergic to garlic, couldn't go in sunlight. He really fucking stressed that one. And now there's just there's no mention of that at all. He doesn't even try to. He just denies any of that stuff anymore. I think that the last time that somebody brought it up with the fangs and shit like that, he started referencing that there was some type of genetic condition or some shit like that, but apparently he doesn't have it anymore or something. I don't know. It's all fucked up. Mandela effect, exactly. Yeah. I think it was on a old Geek Room podcast. It might have been the Geek Room, might have been somewhere else, but where I was talking about the inconsistencies between his story. Because we talked about how his teeth fell out, because one of the stories was that his mother defanged him, and apparently they were load-bearing teeth and it caused the rest of his teeth to fall out. But then the other story was fluoride in the water caused his teeth to fall out. And so remember we're talking about this, and even when you bring up both of the stories, somehow they're both true at the same time. You just he doesn't realize that there's contradictions in his whole kind of thing. He just, whatever. Yeah, it was fucking funny. The fucking fangs. Yeah. Proof Canada's who drinks milk out of bags. That's only one province. Okay, that's just Ontario, and they're pretty much mini America, so we just don't really pay much attention to them. Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it that Yeah, the King of Canada still definitely drinks baked milk. Yeah. So that's about it. In just a summary, there's just the couple things here. The main ones were, one, Kentucky Code Section 394.020, which are the rules laid out about who could be a beneficiary of someone's will, and whether or not it requires somebody for the blood heir to be involved. And no, it doesn't. And like I said to Vaughn, earlier, listen, I have the fucking the code here. I have the law. I have all the fucking the precedents set by different court cases out there, and I will more than happy send those to Vaughn. He can reference them if he wants. He wants to take a look at this. Let's see if maybe he can come, if you can actually get him to see reality. I don't think so. I think he's pretty wrapped up in his own little fucking world, and wasn't able to actually Google like he should have. But there it is, Kentucky Code Section 394.020. You can look that up, and you can see, unfortunately, the blood heir does not have a claim. And you can leave shit to minor children. The other one, what is it here? Oh yeah. So actually, here's one of the examples. I like this one. I know we're kind of backtracking here, but just because the whole that you have to leave shit to the blood heir and stuff like that. I said that's not really a thing, but there actually are some laws in some states that says that you can't disinherit your children. Okay, now again, these do not apply to Kentucky. All right, and these generally apply to minor children. Okay, these do not have any bearing whatsoever. But in Kentucky, you can absolutely say, no, I don't want to give my kids anything, even if they're minors. And there was a court case, Perkins Guardian versus Bell, 294 Kentucky 767 in 1947. And the finding of the court was that the testator in disposing of their property, the law does not require that the testator in disposing of his property shall be humane or even just. Okay. An unjust will is not necessarily an irrational act, for if one possesses the requisite mental capacity, he may make an unreasonable or unjust will and may disinherit his children. That was the finding of the court, okay? Because the reason why you can disinherit your children, the problem with disinheriting your children is that people assume that if you have minor children and you're not leaving anything to them, that obviously you weren't in the right mental capacity when you're writing your will, because obviously you'd be leaving shit to your minor children. And the ruling in Kentucky, basically says no, that's bullshit. If the person was mentally capable when they made their will, which Alice Helton was, this was like 12 years ago before she got diagnosed with any type of dementia, and remember, statements, his mother did not have dementia. Even 12 years ago. 12 years ago is when that will was fired, and she did not have dementia. Okay, the medication and all that other stuff was only stuff that happened recently, not before when the will came out. A will that, again, by VonHelton's own admission, existed at least as far back as 2017, 2016, because Vaughn spoke about it on air when he said that there was a will in place that named the kids as the beneficiaries of the will. So Vaughn was aware of this. Okay, so again, no argument to be had from Vaughn. Like, he's already acknowledged this stuff. And that in Kentucky, you can disinherit your children. It's as long as you're in the, that you have the requisite mental capacity, and you say, you know what, I just don't think that my 8-year-old deserves anything. You can do that in your will. Okay. Now, looking into this stuff, there is actually some shit about spouses. All right. And how it's really hard to write a spouse out of a will in Kentucky. I know that really doesn't really apply to any of this stuff here. But if Vaughn really had a legal leg to stand on, I would probably try to push him as being a motherfucker because he'd probably have more of a legal standing. Just saying. And on that note, I'm done. I'm out. I got shit to do. And everyone have a wonderful night.